After training hundreds of athletes and helping over 10 athletes run sub 1100 meter, I've seen this one thing that holds back 90% of athletes from improving their speed. In this video, I'm going to show you what is holding you back, how to fix it, how to never have this issue again, and the best exercises to pair with this issue so you can make sure you have long-term gains. Why do both of these athletes squat the same amount of weight, but one is much faster than the other? When you test both athletes, they have similar technique and stiffness in the ground, but athlete A is much more powerful than athlete B. This is because of something called mass-specific force. Speed is mainly about applying force, and it can be broken down into three major components. Number one, how often do you contact the ground? Number two, how much muscular force can you deliver during ground contact? And number three, how much ground contact time is available to deliver that force? These three aspects will decide your stride length and stride frequency, and overall that will decide your speed. Here's an example of what happens when you put on weight but you don't improve your force production. In this research, they took a racehorse and found out his times in his sport-specific race. And then they wanted to see how much weight would slow down this horse significantly. How much do you think? Put in the comments below before I say it. They put it on a weighted vest of only 10 pounds and it significantly slowed down the horse that's over thousands of pounds. So if this horse can weigh over 1,000 pounds and can get slowed down by a 10-pound vest, how much do you think you'll slow down if you weigh 10 more pounds than usual? Later in the study, they tested athletes' vertical jump and sprint times doing this exact same method. They found that 3.4 pounds of fat would lower an athlete's vertical jump by 1.5 to 2.0 inches and slowed their sprint times down by 0.24 seconds in the 40-yard dash. The final study I did it myself. I took some time off from sprinting to train basketball for about 2 years. This resulted in a few changes. I got much slower because I didn't sprint for almost 2 years, which overall is just going to make you slower. And then I went from 175 pounds to 195 pounds in 2 years. Yes, that is 20 pounds of weight gain, probably 15 pounds of fat, and probably 5 pounds of muscle. So after 2 years of gaining all this weight and not training my speed, I decided to test my 40-yard about 2 months ago. And on day one, my 40-yard time was a whopping 5.2 seconds. After simply dropping my weight and training my speed 2 times per week with the Speed Academy program that's helped athletes go from this to this, I went from a 5.2 to a 4.5 40-yard dash electronic in just 8 weeks. And you wanna know how much weight I lost? Only 6 pounds. So the obvious answer is just to lose weight and the video is over, right? Well, sadly, it's just not that simple. There are 2 ways to lose weight, and one is going to ruin your speed and one will help your speed if you do it the right way. When you lose weight, you usually either lose water weight or you lose actual body fat. If you want to lose water weight, then you should just cut your calories a ton, only do cardio, never strength train, and just don't eat at all. Just completely starve yourself. And I promise you, you will lose weight on the scale, but you will have a worse muscle to body fat ratio. And since you ended up losing muscle and strength, you will have a higher body fat percentage than you did before, even if you lose 5 to 10 pounds. So if you want to lose body fat while becoming more athletic, I'm going to give you a simple 7-step system. Go to Google and type in TD calculator and try to calculate how much exercise you do per week so you can find your maintenance calories. Then track your calories and eat at the maintenance calories that they give you for about 5 to 7 days, and then test to see if you go up or go down in weight. These calculators are going to be inaccurate, so once you find out what your actual maintenance calories is from tracking and adjusting it, then you want to set your calorie deficit by 300 to 500 calories and stick with it for at least 3 to 4 weeks. For athletes, we do not want to lose more than 1 to 2 pounds of body fat per week. The second we start going above 2 pounds of body fat per week, especially for an athlete, we're probably going to end up losing muscle and strength. So try to stick to around 300 to 750 calorie deficit per day. Now set your protein at 1 gram per pound of body weight. Now we need to strength train upper and lower body at least 2 to 3 times per week. Fat loss in the most basic sentence ever is increase relative strength, eat high protein, and lose body weight on the scale. And guess what? You're probably going to be losing body fat. Now the next step is for athleticism, we can't expect huge changes while we're in a deficit because we have fighting stimulus and fighting adaptations. But we should still be doing sprint training and high intensity plyometrics 2 to 3 times per week, even if we're in a calorie deficit. The last step of the system is if you need cardio for fat loss, then you should do this system. It's called a high-low approach, where we have high intensity cardio on, let's say, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we do low intensity cardio Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday to offset the adaptations our metabolism will have to the type of cardio. Most research will show if you only do high intensity cardio, then your body is going to adapt to that and burn as little calories as possible if you repeat the same cardio every single day. So that means we need to be doing high then low and interchange those types of cardio. That way our metabolism isn't adapting and we can keep burning the same amount of calories and eat that same deficit without adapting and burning less calories, because they're trying to stop our body from losing body fat. But the issue is your diet doesn't matter if your strength training is poor. Yes, of course, losing weight is important. That's the whole goal of this video. But if your strength and force production decrease while you're losing weight, then none of this matters. You're going to be in the same spot you were when you started. When we're in a calorie deficit, we need to be improving relative strength at fast speeds with compound movements through a full range of motion. Every athlete needs a squat, a hinge, a calf raise, a horizontal press, a horizontal pull. So think a bench press or a dumbbell row, a vertical press and a vertical pull. So think a dumbbell overhead press and a pull-up. I'm going to give you one key exercise for all 7 of these fundamental movement patterns that an athlete needs to be training. For our squat movement, I will pick the rear foot elevated split squat. Our goal is to get 1.35 times our body weight for 1 to 6 reps. For our hinges, our goal is to improve internal rotation while getting some good lengthening on the hamstring. So I'll pick a foam roller split stance hinge. There is no relative strength goal for this exercise. Just make sure that you're progressive overloading. So you write down what weight you do the first session and then try to go up to 5 to 10 pounds every single session with good technique. For our calf raise variation, we're going to pick the single leg calf raise. The overall goal is to be able to single leg calf raise 1.5 times our body weight, but that's very difficult. Most athletes just need to be able to get to 1.0 of their body weight for 12 good solid reps, getting through that full range of motion. For a horizontal press, I'm going to pick the incline dumbbell press. And then in terms of overall strength, it's kind of hard. Every athlete's different. Usually if you're getting around 60 to 80 pounds on a dumbbell press, you're pretty strong, and that's probably all you really need as an athlete. For a vertical pull variation, the pull-up is going to be a standard for most athletes. And if you're an athlete that can do 8 to 12 pull-ups, that is a great strength goal that you're going to be stronger than most people in the world. You can either do wide grip pulls, but what I like is neutral grip, because you can get more stretch on the lat at the bottom portion.